welcome to Up the Villa podcast. If you're new to our channel, subscribe, drop this video a like and get involved in everything that we discuss today. So it's our predicted lineup episode for Aston Villa versus Watford. The first one we ever did, pretty easy. Strongest 11, not too many changes at all. Well, it wasn't, to be fair. Newcastle, a little bit more difficult with Buendia maybe being out. But this one, oh my days, it's going to be so difficult to predict this 11. Gerrard spoke after the game that he's going to ring the changes. But we've come up with a side that we think is pretty balanced. It has got some changes, but I wouldn't be surprised if he went all in and changed a few more. But we will get into that. We will discuss different positions where we think he might also change. But let's get straight on in there then. So you guys at home, let us know what your predicted lineup is, and we'll see if it varies too much from ours. So I'm going to share the screen now. And this is our lineup for Aston Villa versus Watford. So in goal, picks himself for me, is Emi Martinez. He's not done too much wrong at all, has he really? I think he's letting in a few more goals than what we'd probably like, but it's not all down to him, is it? So I think everyone is going to go with Martinez at the back. I think he's going to stick. I think he's going to stick with the four and not change this at all. I don't think anyway. You two let me know, Justin, Ryan. But we've got Luca Dean, Tyrone Mings, Callum Chambers, and Matty Cash. Chambers, I thought, did pretty decent in his appearance at Newcastle, and Tyrone Mings made some crucial last-ditch sliding tackles as well. I think the one area that's come in for massive criticism is that the fullbacks sort of so far ahead and not doing the defensive work as well, and it's just left us sort of, our shape of the team was just all over the show against Newcastle, and I think it's an area which we do need to tighten up on, because I think Watford are going to be, I think we're going to have all the ball against Watford, but I think it's going to be a counter job on their part. And I think in transition, we need to be on it. It looks like Sarr is going to be back, and he tore us one, didn't he? At their place, first game of the season. Dennis is probably going to be fired up for it as well. And I think we did okay against St. Maxim. I think we sort of ushered him out of the game a little bit. He did have a few bright spots, but all in all, I thought we did okay against St. Maxim, and we're going to have to do the same again if Sarr starts. And we've gone for Matty Cash. Now, I do think he looked shell-shocked in that interview after the Newcastle game. He looked a bit edgy, and I've got a feeling that Gerrard went in on him, I think, because he did look pretty edgy. And I think maybe Ashley Young could start there. That's one area where I think we could maybe see one change. But for me, at home, I think I'd stick with Matty Cash. What are you guys saying?
I'd be slightly different. I will come to the midfield in a minute. Obviously, I got a sneaky feeling that Chambers might go into the defensive midfield slot, which would then obviously open up a slot centre half, which only leaves Courtney House there. So I think there's a potential Courtney House could slot in. And I also agree with you on Matty Cash. I think it's time just to leave him out for a game. And I think Ashley Young is the natural replacement that's in the squad. I think Gerrard was very annoyed. I mean, none of the players we talked about tonight that potentially going to lose their place Saturday, they're not going to be out of the team for long. I just think it's time now to give them a short shock even, and drop them out the side for a game or two, and just let somebody else have a go. That's the whole idea of it, isn't it? When you have a bad performance, you leave players out and you say, right, you're not undroppable. So I think potentially Young and House possibly in that back four.
One thing that stood out from today, Ashley Priest tweeted about Callum Chambers' interview. This is a quote from Callum Chambers. "We've got to go out there and be prepared to run, tackle, and fight for everything." I mean, come on, we shouldn't even be coming out saying that. That's the bare minimum which we expect.
Isn't that what you get paid for? That's what you're getting paid for, as like you say, as the bare minimum.
He also went on to say the message that message has been drilled into us this week.
Bollocking.
Yeah. So to me, it's not been a pleasant on that training pitch so far this week, because I think, one, they've gone back to basics, and I'm talking the basics of football. And two, I think they've been made aware of,
what's expected.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think rightly so. So I think a few of these have probably had a few home truths come their way this week. So so that's the back four I think we are going to go with. But like you say, Justin, that there is that massive tweak in a system change as opposed to just personnel. And I think it's whether we go all out and we're at a point where we feel like it's needed, or it's just the personnel changing. So I'll lead you on to the midfield then, Justin.
Yeah, I think this just ties into the midfield. I mean, we've gone with that, but, like I suppose a lot of people this week, the debate's going to rage on what teams you're going to pick. And we've gone for Ramsey, Sanson and McGinn. But I do, again, feel like McGinn could be another one to lose his place for this game. I think he's on the edge, which would then leave for me Chambers, Sanson and Ramsey in that midfield three. And the reason I sort of think that could be the way to go is because of the way we're getting sort of outflanked, if you like, when our fullbacks spawn forward, relying on the 2-8s. I said this in the week, to drop in and leaving the midfield just basically a one-man midfield, which we're getting so overrun in there. But I think if you drop Chambers in that defensive midfield slot, he just then retreats into a back three, allows the fullbacks to get forward without relying too heavily on your midfielders having to cover, so it keeps your midfield tight. I think that's the way I probably am leaning towards, but quite frankly, anything could happen, like what you've just said. If them are the kind of things that are coming out of the training ground this week, then there's a huge rocket gone up them this week. So I think they'll all probably be looking over the shoulders and thinking, am I going to be left out this week? So it could go either way in the midfield. I'm leaning towards Chambers in the defensive midfield role. Either way, I think Sanson has to come in and start this weekend, regardless of who the other two are. I think you can't drop Ramsey. He's the 4 midfielder, isn't he? So I think that the 3, Louise and McGinn, are the ones that are looking over the shoulders most. I don't know what Ryan thinks.
Do you think there's a future for Sanson if he don't start this game? Considering that midfield is completely at rock bottom, isn't it?
I think
he's looking bleak.
If you can't get in that starting 11 after the last couple of performances, then I don't know if there's going to be a future for Sanson at Villa. But the more I think about it now, I'm more swaying towards Justin's thinking of having Chambers in there, just a bit more defensive minded in there. Louise is struggling. He's struggling to read the game. He's struggling with his positional awareness. He's not following the runners, and that's not down to him. He's a number 8, and he gets attracted to the play, and he's leaving us wide open in that middle. Whereas I think Chambers would manage that position a bit more and not stray too far and protect the back two. Mings and House, they did okay. They did okay together against Man United. Always a bit nervous with 2 left footers, but they did all right. So, like Justin says, Ramsey undroppable. McGinn and Cash, I think, will they be given one more chance if Gerrard has given them a rocket up the arse and give them a chance to react? So, I think we're there or thereabout with that line up there.
All right, Brucey.
You know what? I think I said that in the last episode as well.
I nearly said Brucey in that one.
Yeah. I thought I ain't going to say that again, just in case someone hammers me for that.
There or thereabouts. Bloody hell, we're going back now, aren't we?
Yeah. Is that what it's come to, though? We're quoting Brucey now.
Quoting Bruce, that's how bad it is. But I think you've hit the nail on the head with the Louise thing. In that role, you need somebody who's going to be disciplined. Where Louise's natural game is to get involved in the play, to hunt the ball, to try and dictate play, try and make things happen. Where I think you need that defensive midfielder that can just sit and be disciplined in the role. And I think if you are relying on your fullbacks bombing forward, whoever they are, then it's just a natural thing for Callum Chambers to sit back in. But it's not natural for Douglas Luiz to sit back in, and we've seen it time after time after time, getting the 2 centre halves getting overrun and making mistakes.
Yeah,
I don't know whether it'd be worth sacrificing McGinn to go in at number 6, because He's got a bit more energy. He's virtually been playing in that position anyway. He's been that deep the last 2 games. So I don't know whether McGinn could go in at sort of a 6 and Ramsey and Sanson then.
But again, his natural game is to go hunting for the game and to play, isn't it? It's to go roving, and he's so energetic. He wants to get around the pitch everywhere. Well, can he be disciplined enough to play that role? I don't know.
Yeah. So someone's got to be sacrificed for that number 6 position, because that's where we're getting hurt. And
yeah.
And like I said earlier, I feel like against Watford, I mean, it's Watford coming to Villa Park. It's no disrespect to Watford, but they're fighting for their lives in the relegation zone. I do feel like we will have majority of possession, but again, like we've done all these previews and these predicted lineups, we can't concede early, we can't concede first, and I feel like if we don't do that, we're going to have majority of the football. And the only way Watford hurt us, it's a counter. It's on the counter. And I think where we're going so wrong is that we're so disjointed all over the place that when we are being countered, it doesn't look great. So like you guys are saying, we just need to make sure that we're just a little bit more solid. That's all we need.
I think that, I mean, Roy Hodgson loves to play like that, and they'll be drilled this week to defend, and and then pick the chances to get forward, because they're going to rely on them players with pace, and they're going to rely on the quick break. So I think the Chambers playing in that role gives you two pluses. One, he can defend. And the other, if we are going to be camped sort of in their half and hopefully dominating the game, and they're letting us do that, just trying to hit us on the break, it does allow your flair players to be a little bit more positive staying forward. So Sanson, Ramsey, if it is Coutinho, Buendia, they can really concentrate on getting forward more, because they know they've got a little bit extra cover behind them with Chambers, Mings and House. And it'll allow the fullbacks to get that. That's just the way I see it. But it'll be so interesting to see which way Gerrard goes. It's a big thing for him on this team selection, I think.
Yeah. And Ryan, the front three, what are we going for then? Yes,
Emi Buendia, arguably our player of the season, really, I think. So he's undroppable. Pre-Newcastle, he was in fine confidence, fine form. It shows how much Gerrard wants him on the pitch, give him to the last minute to prove his fitness and get him on there. So I think Emi's a definite. Coutinho, little Felipe, 2 goals, 2 assists in 2 games at Villa Park. Again, I think he'll be the man to light up Villa Park once again and break that Watford back line that's going to be firmed up. And then we got the question marks again, Ings or Watkins. And I think this time it's Ings. Ings is worth a shot this time now. Watkins, his confidence is just shot, I think. I can't even remember the last time I've seen him smile. I don't know what's gone wrong with him. We've had a bit of a disjointed season. I think no player has really found a consistent run of form. And I didn't know if it was a bit of second season syndrome, whether the pressure of playing in front of a crowd. But I just think he's just out of form. He doesn't look like he's enjoying the game. He looks under pressure. He's I think we called him the nearly man on the one episode. He's just nearly holding the ball up. He's nearly getting on the end of things. He's nearly closing things down. And when you're out of form, that's what happens to you. So I think just take him out, give him a breather, let him come on as a sub, let him impact a game that way. And I think Ings is waited patiently, and I think he'll be chomping at the bit. And Watford at home, you're looking to really dominate the play, have control of that ball, and if we're going to be camped out in their half, then Ings is not too reliant on his running power, then, is he? Because it's little slip balls, through balls, and that's where he's good at. He's good at them intelligent runs, and his finishing is second to none, really. So yeah, I think he's waited long enough now. I think he deserves his shot now.
I do feel a little bit bad for Ings, because I think. Was it when he last started a game at Brentford and he scored that real good goal against Brentford, when he sort of hit it across the keeper?
Yeah.
And he hasn't really featured much since. And and he's been a big part player for us this season. We spent a lot of money on Danny Ings. Some people might say it was just a rush decision. It was something that we just did when we sold Grealish, and we didn't really think about it too much. But the thing I think with Watkins as well is, does anybody else think we might have run him into the ground a little bit? Because he never really has had a break, has he? The amount of running that we get him doing, I don't know whether he needs just a bit of a break out the side and let Ings have a run of games. But like Ryan's saying, it's just not worked out for him, has it? I mean, last season he was scintillating for us, wasn't he? Against Liverpool and games like that. How many goals did he get? 15, 16 goals. And he's not looked that player this season, has he? So I think it's a little bit hard to judge him. I don't know, against Newcastle, you're lofting balls up to him, and he's up against a 6 foot, 7 foot Dan Burn. I mean, he ain't going to win nothing against Dan Burn, is he? Come on. I mean, we could criticise his hold-up play. I do think he had a bit of a poor game, but I mean, you're asking him to hold the ball up against Dan Burn. There's only one winner, in my opinion, and I don't think we've got Watkins doing what he does best, to be honest. But I do think Danny Ings should start this game. I think Watkins needs a rest, and I think Danny Ings needs a run of games.
So Watkins last season went 9 games without a goal, but he never once felt he was out of form or his head was down. No. Where now I've got that vibe that he ain't too happy, and like I say, I think it is time for a.
Well, last season when he was in that bad run of form, he was always contributing, to the team, wasn't he? And I think he more than anybody has missed Jack Grealish this season, hasn't he? Because him and Jack down that left-hand side was sensational at times last season. They were unplayable. If one of them didn't get it, the other one did. So I think he's missed that type of player that Jack was, that would just drift past 2 or 3 and create a bit of space, and Ollie would just run onto a through ball or something. And he's missed that this season. He's almost having to create things himself, and it's not working for him. I agree. I think it's time for Danny Ings. I think the most important thing is just to keep him in that 18-yard box. Don't go hunting wide. Don't go too deep. Let the 2 10s do the running just behind you. Let the 2 wing backs, whoever's going to play in defensive mid, drop back in and cover. Let the wing backs go forward. Get them balls into the box and just get amongst their back, back 2. I mean, their back centre halves are pretty poor. They're down there for a reason. I know we took them lightly the first game of the season. We all thought we were going to, steamroller them, and they were outstanding against us, and we were poor. We don't want another repeat of that. I think last week was a bit of maybe, we had 3 weeks break. We went into that ridiculous Leeds game when it was 100 mile an hour, 90 minutes. I think maybe they were a bit leggy against Newcastle because Leeds were the same against Everton, weren't they? I think they'd put that much into it in the week that maybe it did catch us out a little bit, almost like early season when you're just not quite up to speed. But, excuses have to finish now for me. And I think 3 or 4 changes is definitely going to happen on Saturday, and there's no excuses. I think we've got to go out there, be on it from the first minute and go for it.
Yeah, I think one more thing with Ings as well. He hasn't really had the opportunity to play with Coutinho and Buendia, has he? From the off, when them 2 are fresh. You're throwing Ings on with 10, 15 minutes to go, and them 2 number 10s are pretty much blowing. So it'd be good to see them from the off and try and pick out Ings' runs. And so I'm excited to see that. And then Ollie, last 10, 15 minutes.
Off the bench, superb.
Off the bench, inject a lot more pace than what Ings does coming off the bench. So, hopefully we turn it around. We see a good few goals down Villa Park this weekend.
In the right net.
We have done our match preview already. But as the games approach, I tend to get more confident. I don't know why. I'm off work now until Tuesday. So normally when I'm at home games, I have to just get there really quick. So I'm going to try and make the most of Saturday. And enjoy a proper Saturday off work, because I don't really get too many. But to be fair, I'm confident now. I'm really looking forward to it. How are you guys feeling about it?
Waiting for each other to speak. Yeah, I'm really confident, to be honest. I am, but I mean, we always are. But I think, given what happened last week, I think like what's coming out of the training ground, that they've had a huge rocket, and I think we've said it before and we've been wrong before, but if we don't come out the traps in the first 10, 15 minutes and absolutely be up for it, and the fans see that, then you can only start thinking, what the hell is going on here? Because that was woeful beyond belief against Newcastle. So with a home game next against a team that's second bottom and hasn't won in 12, they couldn't have handpicked a better game to have in the next game than that game. They just couldn't. I'm not saying any team in this league is a walkover, because it's not. We've proved that this season. So we've just got to be on it from the first minute, and I'm confident we can do that.
Yeah, I think we just got to win the crowd over straight away. I do feel that it will be a quiet, nervous start to the game. And like you say, if they've had the rocket that we think they have, then they need to come out forward, and they need to whip that whole end up into a frenzy and let it rain out all around the rest of the ground, and then we all get behind them, because we do need to be on it.
Any chance we can score an early goal this time instead of the opposition? That'd be nice.
Exactly, yeah. It'd be nice not to be handicapped for once.
That's what I mean. It'd just be nice to do that at home, wouldn't it? Because I just think when we're in the ascendancy, the crowd gets up a bit and we all ease into it. And, we've been playing some all right football at home, haven't we? So just not concede early and just have a nice, relaxing
early goal.
Nice
5-10 minutes. 5-10 minutes early goal. Crowd back buzzing. Then another one just for half time. Hopefully that'll be a comfortable win for us. But getting to half time 0-0, and we've been a bit ropey, and there'll be a few mumblings, won't there? But if these changes are going to happen, we're going to have an amazing bench on Saturday. So we'll have a lot of things we can change it. Bailey as well, Traore possibly. There's them two as well that could be possibilities. Could he start one of them? Could he throw a real left field thing in and play maybe Coutinho in a deeper role and play maybe Bailey and Buendia as a really attacking formation? You just don't know, do you? I think, to be honest, after last week, all bets are off and all possibilities are open.
Definitely.
Yeah. Right, before this little run of games, I just thought, you know what, we're going to smash someone. We really are going to smash someone, and it just hasn't gone that way. Mainly because we just never take the lead, and we always put ourselves on the back foot straight away. So hopefully we can get that early goal, and if you can get that crowd going, then I'm getting positive again. Then I'm looking at 2-3-0, just a massive reaction. And
at half time.
About half time, yeah, and then we're assessing at half time, then see if we can go for the 5.
Oh, God.
Right, so we'll do our score predictions on this one then. I'll go to 2-0 Villa. Have it. Justin?
I think we're going to win. I'm always too bloody confident in 3-0. That's me winding it back. I don't think they're going to score, but who knows? God, anything could happen, couldn't it?
Ryan?
3-1. Come on. Let's have that reaction.
Next time you see us, he's going to be on a fan cam outside the Trinity Road talking about
swearing
and how good we were.
I hope so.
If not, you'll never see us again.
Yeah.
Right.
Camera goes in the bin.
Yeah. Right. So thanks for watching. Get involved. Drop your predictions. Score predictions as well. We'll have a few of them. And thanks for watching, and subscribe. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.